Okay. All right. Okay. Secondly, what led to the distillery happening was James Anderson. He was a Scottish plantation manager. He ended up becoming George's farm manager in 1796. George Washington retired from his presidency, so to speak, in 1797. He was 65. James approached him and told him he was missing opportunities with his estate. He said, you have an abundance of crops, you have a great water supply, and George Washington had a state-of-the-art grist mill, which is right there, which is what you need. And so the major difference between Anderson is that he wanted to use rye, which is what the abundance of crops that George had growing on his plantation was. A cover crop is just something that they would do. They don't do it really now. It's rare now, but it would help manage the soil erosion, the fertility, and the quality of it. So pretty much laid it down to fix grass. Anderson wanted to take the rye and turn it into whiskey. George was hesitant because he's 65. He just wanted to live his life in peace and not do anything else. But he said, okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. So they did a trial run. And it was so successful that Washington approved the plans for construction of a full-fledged distillery. Construction was done in 1798, and by 1799, it was the largest whiskey distillery in the country. It was located at Mount Vernon, which is his home, and he just 2 miles from his mansion, so it was close, but not too close. And in that year alone, it produced 11,000 gallons of clear, unaged whiskey, and George was not known as a whiskey businessman because of the fact that he died in the winter of 1799 when it started to just become successful and pretty much get off the ground. He died. It was left to his nephew, who did not have George Washington's business mindset at all, and so it just kind of did okay. And then it ended up burning into the ground in 1814. Anderson had only remained at the distillery until, the distillery as a farm manager, distilled farm manager, up until Martha's death in 1802. For 193 years, various people went back to the site. There was archaeologists who went back there because, it was where the president lived, so they had to go back and they were looking at it, and they kept looking at the site and kept prodding and poking. And there was another group of people that kept a society that ended up building it up, kept looking at the site, and in 2007, the distillery, the grist mill, and the miller's cottage were all built and became open to the public. Now you can go up there and go check it out, walk around. Every year the manager of historic trades at Mount Vernon leads a small team in distilling the whiskey twice a year in March and November, and they do it exactly the way that Anderson and George Washington would have done it, and they sell it to the visitors that go up there 2 times a year. And the first rye whiskey is sold out within 2 hours. So, apparently it's pretty cool. That, it's George Washington. He doesn't want a little bit of whiskey that's going to be here. It's just ironic. And that is my board. Those are just a few varieties of whiskey. They all have their own, different starts. There's obviously